Okay, let us continue our discussion about chapter 1 of your subject matter regarding the history of cybercrime, specifically in our country. No? So that we could see when did this crime existed, no, in our country, and it is a problem also in our country and other countries. So let us focus in our own territory on how this cybercrime has been classified as a crime. Okay? But of course, alam niyo naman on why there is cybercrime, because there is the use, there is the abuse, there is the illegal use of the cyberspace uh, in committing, no, acts that are illegal, no. Uh, Therefore, no, the government have to regulate it and criminalize the illegal, the illicit act committed using the cyberspace, no, in order to control the occurrence of cybercrime. Okay, so let me start my short presentation and discussion on this matter. Okay, so this is the history of cybercrime in the Philippines. Cybercrime goes beyond the technical transnational dimensions and involve offenders who deliberately fashion their attacks to exploit the potential weaknesses present in the infrastructure's transnational nature. Yan, ano yung weakness na tinitake advantage ng mga tao who wish to take advantage other people in the cyberspace. Sabi ko nga, it is the ignorance, no, arrogance, negligence. Yan. Those are the common weaknesses that we have, no, that might endanger us as victim or even as offender for cybercrime, no. And remember, the attackers or the offenders, no, are everywhere, not only within the Philippines but from other territories, because cybercrime as a crime is borderless. It has no definite boundary. No, you see how cybercrime is dangerous. No, so to continue, if threatens the substantial and growing reliance of commerce, governments, and the public upon the information infrastructure to conduct business, carry messages, and process information. Yan. So remember this, cyber crimes threaten the processes, no, the processes in the uh, businesses carrying of messages, no, in the daily lives of the public or the people. So cybercrime must be controlled and prevented. No? We cannot totally eradicate a crime, but the thing that we can do is to control and prevent its occurrence. Cybercrime is the one of the fastest growing non-violent crimes in the Asian region. Non-violent, but it has a greater impact, no, in the identity, in the data and information of another person, and it costs money also. No, it is non-violent, that like unlike murder, no, uh, robbery. No, these are violent crimes, but even it is not non-violent, still it poses a great threat in the lives, businesses, and economy of a country or a person. So it takes a great deal of technical expertise and cooperation, both local and foreign, in order to address this problem. No? This crime affects different countries in varying degrees depending on the extent of the legislative enactment of its country. Yan. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, this crime is uh, wrong, or this act, no? The use of the internet, the use of computer, the use of the cyberspace to take advantage of others' interests, no, is wrong because there is a law prohibiting it, no. So long as there are no laws prohibiting such act, then they are legal, no. That is why it's good that in our country, cybercrime has been, or this act of using the cyberspace illegally has been criminalized because of legislative enactment. And the legislative enactment refers to the laws that has been created. Okay? So in the Philippines, as technical and electronic landscapes change, there is a need to enact laws or amend existing laws to fully address the cyber threats. Okay? Yan. Kaya kailangan ng amendments ang batas natin depending on the situation. So to see some developments kung paano nagkaroon ng batas, no, in the development history of our cybercrime laws, no, let us see some of the prominent, no, events in the development of cybercrime laws that define cybercrime, or that define cybercrimes. So, okay, so one of the prominent historical development of our environmental laws, cybercrime laws in the Philippines, is an event when an I love you virus, or sometimes they call it the love bug, existed or has been created by a Filipino, no? Actually, he is from Nueva Vizcaya, no? So this I love you virus became the landmark, no? Or is starting, or a very popular landmark that placed the country Philippines on the global cyber map and pushed Congress to pass the first cybercrime law, Republic Act number 8792, or known as the Electronic Commerce Act of 2000, and signed it into law by the President on June 14, 2000. No? May nangyari yung paggawa ng isang I love you virus by a certain individual from the Philippines, no? A student actually. So, ang rason lang niya is pinaglaruan niya, ginamit niya yung knowledge niya in the use of computer, because he was a student of AMA, no? Computer school, no? Gusto lang daw niyang makalibre ng internet. Yeah. So it is out of the blue, no? Gusto nilang gawin 'yon without any other, hindi niya inisip ang pwedeng epekto nito, no? Kasi even to the economy of the United States of America, naapektuhan ng I love you virus na 'yan, no? So this is the first cybercrime law, no, that has been created. It is because of the I love you virus, no? Diba? Katulad ng hide and co scandal, dahil diyan ginawa yung Republic Act 9999. That is the anti-voyeurism, because of that situation, no? So Republic Act number 8792 provides for the legal recognition and admissibility of electronic data, messages, documents, and signatures. It is also considered the landmark law in the history of the Philippines as a legitimate player in the global marketplace. It has placed the Philippines among countries penalizing cybercrime. Kasi in that year, wala pang batas, no? to 1999, yan, that year 2000, nung ginawa ni Onel de Guzman, yung I Love You virus, wala pa tayong batas, so they cannot prosecute him. Yan. So what are the important features of this law? It provides the admissibility of electronic documents, penalizes limited online crimes such as hacking, introduction of viruses and copyright violations. Yan. Okay. Then promotes e-commerce in the country. Then aims to reduce graft and corruption in government as it lessens personal interaction between government agents and private individuals. So that dyan nag-start yung electronic transactions, no? Yan, hanggang ngayon nag-improve na ng improve kaya sometimes we can process things electronically. So this is the Onel de Guzman. This person, a Filipino, a programming student of AMA Computer University in Manila in May 2000. Yeah, in this May 2000 niya ginawa, May, created and unleashed this remarkably dangerous computer virus called I Love You. Caused several companies, government, and citizens billions of US dollars in damages. The virus was received an email inbox in Hong Kong on May 4, 2000 with subject I love you and an attachment. Actually, itong I love you virus is a worm. So this worm, you know, this is a kind of malware, diba? As I discussed last time. So it erases or blurs the graphic and data in the computer and get the contact addresses in the computer directory and sends the email to all contacts listed in the directory. Once received and opened in another computer, it replicates all and revealed previously. The replication went on and on, sweeping all computers where email was received and opened. From Hong Kong to Europe to the United States, infecting and damages computer networks of small and big companies, private and government institutions. The damage was about $5.5 billion. Some reports say 10 billion US dollars. The I Love You virus illustrated that a person armed with a computer could, from a distant location, attack and or disrupt computers and networks worldwide and cause several damage or severe damage. Yan yung sinasabi natin, no? Na hindi man ito violent but flexibility, no, in the commission of this crime is available, no? Kasi gamit lang ang laptop mo, ang knowledge mo, ang internet, then pwede ka nang gumalaw at gumawa ng isang hakbang, no? So on May 11, 2000, he was arrested, but the suspect apologized to the public and said he had no intention of causing such great harm. Government prosecutors, yan yung sinasabi ko. Sometimes, hindi mo lang namamalayan yung ginawa mo pala is a cybercrime, especially today that there is a law punishing it. No? Eh kung paano kung may batas during the time, then do a lex and lex. No? Pero that time, nullum crimen nulla pena sine lege ang in-apply. There is no crime if there is no law punishing it. So government prosecutors filed cases against him, but even at the first stage, the indictment was dismissed. So in August of the same year, charges against him in our country were dismissed, mainly because we had, and the American people or even other people cannot come and punish him or get him because we have our sovereignty. Yan yung isang term na diniscuss natin. Hindi pwedeng pupunta ang Amerika at kukunin si Onel de Guzman because we have our sovereignty, we have our own laws, no? So yan. No, yan yung sinasabi ko. The public around the world justifiably outraged. Nagalit ang mundo sa kanya, but wala silang magagawa because in the Philippines we have no crime punishing it and they cannot come to punish him in our country. So on August 1, 2000, that was the effectivity also of a rules on electronic evidence drafted by the Supreme Court. Yeah. J.J. Marie Jenner, the first Filipino to be convicted of cybercrime in connection to 8792. Yeah. Okay. He was convicted on September 2005 by Manila MTC, Branch 14 Judge Rosalind Mislos Loja. Jenner pleaded guilty for hacking the government portal gov.ph and other government website, and he was sentenced to 1 to 2 years of imprisonment. Yeah. We have also in the Philippines the so-called in the Philippines we have also by virtue of laws, no, we have the Anti-Transnational Crime Division. It was created in the year 2003 under the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group of the PNP, involved in the gathering of electronic evidence and the tracking down of Filipino hackers with help from local internet service providers, BitShop Incorporated, or BitStop, which hosted the government.ph portal when it was attacked by China. Philippine Computer Emergency Response Team. That was the first computer emergency response team or CERT in the Philippines is the PHCERT. It provides assistance or responses to cyber incidents locally. PHCERT funding has to come from its membership fees and sponsorship. Thus, it cannot afford to have permanent staff and its service are purely voluntary. Okay. Next is on September 26, 2007, the Philippines signed the United Nations Convention on the Use of Electronic Communications in International Contracts at the United States headquarters in New York. They adopted the United Nations General Assembly on the 23rd of November 2005. The United Nations Convention on the Use of Electronic Communications in International Contracts aims to On September 26, 2007, the Philippines signed the United Nations Convention on the Use of Electronic Communications. Next is in 2001, that was the start of the actual work of the Cybercrime Bill. So bill pa lang yan, tingnan nyo. So from 2001, dyan yung taon na unang pinasa yung bill that defines cybercrime. Okay? Until the 2012, so almost more than 10 years bago na ipasa ang isang cybercrime law. So January 2004, the first local cybercrime conference was organized by Attorney Gigo A. Alampay. Yeah. Then September 12, 2012, the CPA or the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 was signed and came into force on October 3, 2012. The CPA Act of 2012, or Republic Act number 10175, is the first piece of legislation comprehensively dealing with cybercrimes kasi yung 8792 specific lang na act of hacking yung pinapanis niya. Itong cybercrime, pinadami niya. Mas dinefine niya ang cybercrime, then enumerate niya yung different acts that can be considered cybercrime. So this CP Act of 2012 is divided into 31 sections, split across 8 chapters. The Act criminalizes several types of offenses such as illegal access, data interference, device misuse, cyber squatting, computer fraud, cyber sex, even cyber libel, yan, and among others. This law also reaffirms existing laws against child pornography under Republic Act 9775 and libel punishable under Article 355 of the RPC. Yan, kaya meron tayong cyber libel. So mas lumawak at naging definite ang definition ng cybercrime. Noon sa 8792, dito sa 8792, hindi niya dinefine ang cybercrime. Dinefine lang niya ang isang klase ng cybercrime which is hacking. Yan. Okay? So from 2001, from 2000, dyan nagsimula yung laban para sa cybercrime. Until in the year 2012, naipasa yung CPA Act, no? RA 10175. So yan yung brief historical background of our cybercrime law that defines our cybercrime in the Philippines. Okay? So with that, I will end my discussion on that point. I hope you will utilize it properly. And again, be safe always, be good always, and thank you. See you on the next discussion. Okay, thank you, and God bless us all.